it would be based on your on the amount of memory you have in your hard drive.
Yep. It's a big
If you
ass
have it on
hard
low
drive.
quality, probably a few hours.
All right. So what do you guys want to talk about?
Oh, well, we can start it off by getting to the issue of the Subaru, or we can go to other failed collaborations in the car industry.
If we want to talk about something that we might all agree on, that's a little more lighthearted, we can all gush over that new V8 that Ford announced today.
Oh, the 7.
They announced a new V8.
Yeah,
Where was I?
They're making a 7.3 liter V8.
Why?
Finally, because we finally get something to completely erase the Triton. The Triton is completely gone now.
There was nothing wrong with the Triton.
No, fuck you. The Triton was an anchor weighing down on the history and progress of Ford.
I don't know. I've known Tritons with 500,000 miles on them and still going strong. So
bad. Okay, it wasn't bad. It was awful.
Well, plus,
yeah, but they were reliable. I don't give a shit how awful they were. They were reliable.
The V8 than they did with the V10. This new V8, I saw the specs. It's 470 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. The most a Triton V10 ever made was 385 horsepower.
That's because they didn't need to make any more. That was the thing. It was enough.
Are we going to call this Shelby 5.4 a Triton? Technically, it is a Triton.
Yeah, actually, you could call it a Triton.
Because I know not the Marauder, but the Mark A one was called like the Intech or some bullshit.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I mean, from what I understand, calling the Shelby and Lightning 5.4 a Triton was like calling the Viper V10 a Magnum. It's a similar comparison.
But it was a Magnum.
Yeah, no, but it's a similar.
But it was a Magnum, though.
If you look at both engines in CAD, yeah, they're the same, but the build quality and the materials
were exactly the same in the first generation because it was just a copy pasta.
Was it?
Yeah, it was just a copy pasta. The only thing they changed was the fuel system.
The Viper?
Yeah.
Oh.
The RT
Viper was. I thought the
RT10s were.
I at least know the Shelby 5.4 and the one in the Ford GT. It's aluminum. It's a different engine.
Well, the original RT10s were just like I said, they were copy pasta of the truck engines, and the only difference was the truck engines I think were diesels, and the Vipers were petrol. But the Redline was practically the same.
Those V10s in the Dodge trucks were gas.
Were they gas? I thought they had some that were diesel too.
Gas V10.
I thought there were some of them diesel too.
No, I've never heard of a diesel version. The only V10.
I know. I just know that it was basically Chrysler said we need a car that's going to make the world go on fire. We need to make it cheap, and we need to make it now. And they just went directly off the shelf with everything.
Well, it wasn't like it was cheap. I mean, when the first gen Viper came out, GM was
$65,000.
Dodge. Well, no, but I'm saying Dodge was on top of the world. At the time,
no, they weren't.
At the time, Dodge.
No, they weren't. You're talking 1990s.
They owned Lamborghini at the time. They got Lamborghini engineers to help build.
They had Lamborghini, and no, what they did was, believe it or not, they didn't. Lamborghini only designed the body of that car. They didn't design the actual car. They designed the body and some of the chassis components.
I thought Shelby helped design the body because it was modeled.
It was Shelby. Shelby designed the what is it? He designed the layout, like the basic layout of the car, but the intricacies like the wire placement, the transmission housing, et cetera, that was Lamborghini's thing because they were used to it.
Oh, okay.
They were just remember the only people that made V12s at the time were Lamborghini. They were the only ones that knew how to deal with the space issues that came up with that.
Yeah.
And which is why the RT10 was kind of small. And you notice that in the generations of Viper, the first gen, if you're over 5'2", you couldn't fit the damn things properly.
I mean, I've never sat in a Viper, so I'll take your word for it.
I couldn't even stick my leg in one if I tried. Even if I was 150 pounds and 5'9", I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Just imagine that. Now with the second generation Viper, that's when everything, as far as what I read, that's when everything kind of fell apart on them because nobody wanted it. Don't know why. Because it was actually a good car.
The second gen, the second gen, I don't know. I think me and a lot of other people.
It was
think
kind
that
of
the second gen
Mercedes-y.
Viper is
It was kind of the fault of Mercedes because they didn't want to market it properly. Based on what I could see from the market reports, because by the second generation, it was already Daimler Chrysler.
Yeah. Well,
And the merger
came around
was
in
quite bad.
Like, when did that merger happen? I think that merger happened in
95.
95. Wow.
95.
Okay, yeah. But yeah,
And it ended in 2005, technically.
The Roman from Regular Car Reviews did the documentary on the Daimler Chrysler merger, and in the evidence he brought up, he made a pretty good case for the fact that Daimler went into the merger with the mindset that we're going to drive Chrysler into the ground and buy them out to get a foothold in the American market.
Yes and no. No. You'll notice that they wanted to do that, but at the same time, they were giving them all the hand-me-downs at the same time. While they're trying to quote-unquote drive them into the ground, they're giving them good hand-me-downs. They gave them the CLK chassis. They gave them the E-Class chassis. They gave them the C-Class chassis.
The smoking gun was that one interview that Daimler executive did where he basically shit-talked Chrysler and basically said that that's what they were trying to do, but it was in a German magazine, and he thought that Chrysler would never find out about it. But then someone saw the article, translated it, and then Chrysler found out about it. And that was basically the beginning of the end of the merger.
Well, technically speaking, the merger didn't end until Fiat bought them. Just remember that.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Well, no, didn't they go to like a holding company between that?
No. Daimler always had their shares of Chrysler. They've always had their shares of Chrysler. In fact, they still own shares in Chrysler. I think they own something like 5% of Chrysler. Fiat owns 50. I want to say 58%. I want to say 58%.
They're still using Mercedes stuff for the Challenger and Charger.
They're still using the chassis, the transmission, the clutch system. They're using a lot of things.
Yeah. So Daimler would have to stay in just for them to retain the rights to use those parts.
But the reason why
without the Charger and the Challenger, what the fuck does Chrysler have right now? I'm sure even the Durango has some Mercedes stuff in it.
The Durango, it's probably the worst. It's got to be
at the very least, it's got to be the same transmission for the V8.
It's basically a SRT8 Jeep. That's what it is.
Yeah.
A rebodied SRT8 Jeep.
Yeah.